Welcome back to Switched to Linux. So on today's video, what we're going to do is have a look at really quickly checking the SHA-256 hash values of an ISO download. That sounds very confusing. It sounds like geek speak. But it's something that's not so critically important that it absolutely has to be done. But if you are ultimately concerned in security and you do have a little bit of concern about if your files are downloaded, sometimes is it downloaded correctly, sometimes is it the right file, you do want to do the checks. But if you check out all of the instructions that I've seen, some just seem very complicated and it almost seems like that's a little too scary for me. So I'm going to show you the easiest way on the Mac, the Linux, and the Windows systems how to do a very quick SHA-256 hash check just to verify that the download that you got from the file actually matches what they say you should have. So what these files are is each file will have its unique number associated with it, and you can grab what that file is. And then what you do is when you create the file, you will publish the file, and then you put up the SHA code, or you might see an MD5 or a number of other codes. And that way, when you download the file, you can do a hash check of it and then compare the numbers. If the numbers are good, then your file is going to work right. So what we're going to do is, instead of just using the very complicated ways of downloading the extra files, installing certificates, and all that kind of stuff, if you are really paranoid about your download file, it's good to do that. And if you're using a Linux system already and you're just checking more downloads, or you're building other Linux systems for other people and you want to verify those downloads for other people, it's easier to do. But I did want to show you a real quick way on a Mac and on a Windows computer particularly how you can do those quick checks without really having to do a whole lot of these large steps. So without further ado, I'm going to hit the Mac, then we're going to hit the Linux, because the Mac and the Linux are actually essentially identical. And then we're going to hit the Windows, which is a little bit different, but each one of these is actually a little bit easier. Sorry, we do have to go into the command line here. It's the only way to prevent from having to use complicated graphic user interface programs. So with that, thanks for watching the video, and I will have some links down below so you can skip to the particular operating system that you are most interested in. This part of the tutorial, we will look at how to check a hash sum of a file on the Mac operating system without installing any extra tools. So although I try to avoid the command lines and the terminals as much as I possibly can, there's just times it's so infinitely easier to just use the terminal and the command line. And this is one of the cases. With checksums, you'll even notice a lot of even the guys doing a lot of Linux stuff don't bother checking the checksums, and it's important. I think in a way it's important, in a way it's not. The chances that if you're downloading the distro directly from where you should be downloading it from, a mirror listed on the site, chances are you're going to get something good. But you also have to recall that not too long ago, the Linux Mint site was hacked, and for a very narrow window, and I forget the exact time, but it was a very narrow window, a few people downloaded a copy of Linux Mint that had backdoors into the software because the file was changed, and those people that checked the checksum would have picked that up. So on our Mac, we're going to check the checksum of my Fedora OS, which I still have over here. So what we need to do is we need to grab the checksum files. So over here at the Get Fedora, which is the place where we download Fedora from, there is a spot where you can verify your images. So this is getfedora.org/verify. And I got to this page just from the main site. I just had to look for it a little bit. I think what I did is I went over to download the workstation here and just have to hunt around a little bit. Usually they make it not too difficult to spot. In fact, on this one, I know it's on the download page. So I hit the download over here, Now it's going to pop up the download. I don't need it, I already have it. But it does tell you here to verify your download. So here we're going to click the validate. This here is actually the checksums. So what we're going to be looking at is the SHA-256. So this is a checksum, and the particular file is the Fedora Workstation Live x86. So I'll show you, here is the file right here. I'll put it front and center. And if I hover over here, you'll see the whole name. So that name matches. Now, just make sure that the file matches before you do the checksum. So if they happen to release the 1.3 ISO, the checksum was going to change on that. So to check this, we need the terminal, and we need this file here. So what we're going to do is we're going to enter the terminal, and then we are going to first we're going to change our directory to the desktop. Now, if you're used to a Mac computer and you've ever been in the terminal, you'll make a pretty good transition to Linux because the terminal is effectively the same. So we're just going to do a CD and desktop. So now we are on the desktop here, and then what I need to type in is shasum space A 256, and then I need to put in the file. So I can actually come over here and just grab the file name from here, so I don't have to type all of that. Paste, hit enter. Now this is going to take a few minutes here. In the meantime, while that's working, I'm actually going to copy the checksum that's right here. Again, make sure you're grabbing the correct one. So I'm going to grab this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a copy of LibreOffice, and I'm just going to paste it right in here. It's going to allow me to compare. Let's go back to our terminal. Okay, so here you can see that it gives us a checksum. So essentially what you need to do is just check these two numbers together, which you can actually do by sitting there and staring at it. But if you just paste them both into LibreOffice, just make sure that your fonts and everything are the same. So you'll notice that it is using different fonts. So I'll just highlight both of these, select the same font, select the same size. Now you can visually inspect them. If you want to be even geekier about it, you can do a formula. So if you just type in the if, we do a test, and then a value, and then an otherwise value. So if, highlight the first one, if this equals this, then we're going to print the number 1. If it doesn't print it, we're going to print the number 2, hit enter, and you'll see it prints us a number 1. It means that these checksums are the same. So that's how you can quickly do a checksum of a file. Now, suppose that they gave us an MD5 instead of an SHA-256. So these are all just different encryption types. An MD5 is still used in many places. It's not quite as secure as an SHA. In that case, you just do MD5 sum, and then you paste in the file name. I think that's the command anyway. This isn't the correct one. No, I did the wrong one there. Let's see. Command not found. Let's see. Oh, well, it's something very similar to that. I thought it was MD5 sum. Maybe it's MD sum. No. Okay. Anyway, you can look that up online. Just do a simple search online for something to the effect of Mac OS X. We're looking at MD5, so just do an MD5. You'll get some search results. So here's how to check an MD5 hash on your Mac from OS X Daily. Oh, okay, it's just type in MD5, not MD5 sum. So just type in MD5 in that. So we'll do that real quick just to show you what that is. It's not really useful information because Fedora did not give us MD5s. So you do have to check what distro, what checksum your distro is giving you. Is it an MD5? Is it, an SHA-256? Most of them I've seen lately are the SHA-256. So this is the Mac part. We are going to also look at this on a Linux and on a Windows. On this part of the video, we are going to look at how to do a very quick checksum on a Linux system. So there are more complicated instructions included in almost all distros, and pretty much all of them are designed to validate and verify on Linux, which actually is a little funny because, you know, downloading Linux, you have to verify it on Linux. But you don't have to, of course. The instructions are pretty clear. The instructions are some of the best ways of doing it. But again, we're not doing more advanced stuff. I want to do as little as we possibly can. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the Linux Mint 18 Cinnamon 64-bit. Actually, I'm going to move over here a little bit so you can still see, we can read what that is. So what we need to do is we need to grab the checksums for this, and then we're going to run the SHA-256 checksum for this. It's exactly the same process as we did for the Mac, but just to show you how it works over here on Linux. So what we do is we're going to go to the main site, and in this case, we're going to download. And we're going to pick the download that we would like. So here we're going to go to the Cinnamon 64, and it says here, don't forget to verify your ISO. So clicking on that, it will tell us what we need to do. We need to browse the main mirror or a mirror near you. We want to download the ISO image, the 256 checksum, and the GTG or the GPG. Now the GPG is like a certificate validation file. This is the part we're going to skip. You could actually download both of these and then follow these steps, literally just plugging these guys right into your file. But what I'm going to do here is we're even going to use a different command. I'm going to come over here. So this is just telling us where we're going to grab our file from. I'm going to hit the stable directory, and I'm going to come down here and find 18 because we're doing the Cinnamon Linux 18 Cinnamon 64-bit ISO. We're not going to click on this. This will actually allow us to download the file. What we want is we want to come down here and we just want to view this SHA-256 sum text. We're not going to grab the certificate. If you are ultimately worried about the most security, do that. But this is just a quick validation text. Clicking on this, so it gives us all of the available Linux Mint 18, so XFCE, Mate, KDE, and our Cinnamon here, the 32 and the 64. So we are, of course, concerned with this key here. So for now, this is actually the file name of the distro, so I just want to copy the file name of the distro for now. I'm going to open up a terminal, and I'm going to change my directory to the desktop. And if I do a quick dir search, you'll see that here is our ISO is right here. I did not do that on the Mac because the dir is not on the Mac terminal. So here, they actually gave us a different command. If you went back and were paying attention to the screen, it is slightly different. But just because I like to keep things as easy as possible, this one does work the same over here as we did on the Mac. And so here we're going to right click and we're going to paste this, hit the enter. Oh, duh, I need to have a space between there. My space bar in this computer occasionally, I have so many different space bars I hit that occasionally I don't hit that one hard enough. All right, so I knew that worked. So we're going to copy this over here. Once again, we're going to just do a quick comparison in LibreOffice. So I've got to find my Office, LibreOffice Calc. And then what we're going to do here is just the same exact thing that we did on the Mac. We're just going to print this guy out. And then when our terminal gives us our key here, we're going to copy this. So again, paste. I'm just doing the Control and C and Control V to copy and paste. So here, just grab, I don't care what the font and everything is, as long as it's the same. You can do the quick comparison. Of course, you can see that works. If you do want the geek mode, you can test So we're comparing the two. If they are the same, we're going to hit 1. If they are different, we are going to hit 0. And you can see that's 1. Let me just show you. I didn't do this on the Mac, but I'll show you here. If we do that, you'll see that the validation is different. And so maybe somebody has it just right. They change an F to a G. You'll see it still shows up as a 0 because I have an F and a G different over here. Okay. So there's how to just do a very quick SHA-256 check, just manually doing it by pasting it into the LibreOffice and just doing a sum check. For the Windows portion of this tutorial, we are going to use a slightly different process. So there is a built-in hash checker that you can use. I'll show you how to use it, but I'll also show you the reason why I don't like it. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to hit the Windows key and the R to pull up your run dialog, and I'm just going to type in CMD, which gives us a command prompt. And yes, my Windows 10 computer is called the Evil Spy 10. Also, other fun Windows 10 things, I apologize for the audio quality. No matter what I do, I cannot get audio sounding good on Windows. You know, possibly because I don't use the greatest and greatest technology as far as all my recordings are done. However, it sounds great everywhere else. I don't know what the problem is. Anyway, I'm going to change my directory to my desktop, and I can see that I do have my Ubuntu is right here on my desktop. So this is what we are actually going to validate, is our Ubuntu. So what the command is here is called certutil. Oop, I got to spell it right though. So you do certutil, and then you're going to do a space dash hash file. And then you use the name of excuse me, the name of the file here. So it's the Ubuntu 16.04-desktop-amd64.iso. And then we're going to do a space, and we're going to type in SHA-256. Now, Ubuntu does give us the MD5 and the SHA-256. I'm just going to use that because it's the same one I used everywhere else. So we're going to let that hash, and we're going to go to the Ubuntu site, and we're going to grab the hash file. So to find it in Ubuntu, you just want to go down to the desktop, and then hit download Ubuntu. And then we're going to hit the download button. Now Ubuntu asks for a donation. This is certainly a good thing to do. It helps Canonical, who's the foundation behind Ubuntu, to keep things going, but you don't have to do the donation. I already have Ubuntu, so I'm not going to donate anything. I'm just going to skip. It will give us a pop-up for our download here. I do not need it because I already have it. And then down here is in the lower right, lower left here, I'm sorry, is the verify your download. So this walks you through all the verification. It tells you about, you know, doing all these various steps. This is why I don't like all these steps, you know, particularly for a person new to Linux. You might be new to a command line. It seems like a lot. Basically, all we need to do is download our checksums. So click on this link here, and then we're going to come down here, and you can see all of the different checksums available. So what we're going to do is we want the SHA-256 sum. So we're going to click on this file. Now Ubuntu doesn't give us the same nice printing layout that Linux Mint did. This just assumes that you're going to do this with a computer hash, and the computer will know how to parse this out. So what there is in here is a whole lot of SHA codes. This one, the first one, is for the desktop file that we're doing. We have this guy is for the 32-bit version. This one is for the server installation image. So just need to find the particular file. We're just going to grab the first one. I'm just going to copy it. All right. So we should go back to our command line, and it is done hashing. You can see this is why I do not like using the cert utility in Windows. It puts the spaces in there. I can't possibly hash this guy out without doing some complicated things. Like I can copy this guy, I could paste into a WordPad, I can do a find and replace each space with a blank line, condense the thing down. But in Windows, there's actually a nice, easy program called HashTab. So HashTab is here, and I'll put this link in here since it's an unusual link. You download the file, and you get an installation file that looks like this. Now, when you run your setup, it doesn't actually add a program anywhere. It simply adds a tab in your properties menu for the file. Now, when you first install this, it's going to give you this page here. And so it's just the same page as the HashTab, only it's /start. And then from here, it just walks you through how to use it. So you right-click the file, click on the properties. There will be another tab over here for hash files. And then it will, by default, it does these 3 hash files. But then what we can actually do is you can customize which hash files it checks for. So we're going to go back to our desktop. Our Ubuntu is up here. We are going to right-click our Ubuntu, go down to Properties, and then under File Hashes, it automatically begins hashing. If this is the first time you've run it, you might just want to cancel it and hit the Settings button, which is right here above this hash comparison line. And then this, you can select where your, what files is going to hash. So here I want the SHA-256 hash, which I've already pre-selected. If you want multiple, you can actually do multiple hashes at once. So we'll do that so we can get the MD5 and the SHA. We're going to let this hash, and then what I can do is paste what I already copied from the website right into that hash comparison, and it's going to tell me if this is a correct hash or not. This way we don't have to open up the spreadsheet and do the formula. Just a much easier way to do it on a Windows platform. Okay. So it actually already copied what I had in my clipboard and detected that yeah, we are correct on the hash. If that did not happen to copy from your clipboard, or if you don't have it copied yet, you just come into this box here, paste it in, and it will automatically hash. So you can see if we do something goofy, this is what it looks like if there is no hash. And let me see if I can copy the MD5. I'm just going to paste that in there. So you can see if I paste in a various file, it'll give us the check mark and it tells us which one of the hashtags we checked that it compares to. So that is how you do a hash check on a Windows system. And always don't forget, verify your ISOs, particularly if you're interested in security. I realize it's an extra step, but hopefully I just showed you a way on each of the major operating systems where you can easily check the hash. It's not the most secure, the absolute best way to check them, but it does give you a nice individual check. So this has been Tom, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.